You're listening to the Mind Over Finger podcast. This is episode 230, the second episode of your Reset and Rise summer series. In today's episode, you're going to hear practical ideas and inspiration from a group of incredible musicians to help you bring more fun, focus, and flow into your practice right now, wherever you are. Welcome to the Mind Over Finger podcast, where we dive into the world of mindful music making, peak performance, and crafting a purpose-driven life and career. I'm your host, violinist, certified performance and life coach for musicians, and your guide to unlocking your full potential, Dr. Rachel Gautier. Hello there, and welcome back to your Reset and Rise summer series. I'm so glad you're here. This episode is part of a special 10-episode journey I created just for you this summer to help you reignite your spark, rethink your practice, and show up with more clarity, confidence, and joy. Each episode builds on the last, so if you're just joining us, feel free to hop back to episode 229 and catch up. The series follows a clear arc. We start with reigniting your joy and connection to music. Then we move into mindset tools like alignment, patience, and self-compassion to bring more ease and clarity to your work. After that, we clear away hidden obstacles. And finally, we wrap up with powerful tools to help you manage your mind and build real momentum. And if you're ready to go even deeper, check out my course, Practicing for Peak Performance. It's your full blueprint for performance success. And when you join this summer, you're going to get my Performance Anxiety Solution course for free. All the details are at mindoverfinger.com, and the link is in the show notes. All right, ready to reset and rise? Let's dive in. Hi, everyone. I hope this episode finds you doing amazingly well and that it can help bring even more joy in your day. This is a special episode where I offer you a recap of the concepts we've covered during the Joyful Practice Challenge. And if it's the first you hear of the Joyful Practice Challenge, I think you're in for a treat. I have everything you need to get started in this episode. All right. Joyful Practice. What is this all about? The Joyful Practice Challenge is something I created in the spring of 2020 when the pandemic hit to help myself and help my Mind Over Finger community reclaim our creative power when everything shut down and use this time to do something meaningful while connecting together. The goal of the challenge was to focus back on what's at the core of music making that we so often forget, right? The fact that we love it. And the truth is that when we really make joy a part of our practice, when we figure out ways to stay engaged, when we truly are interested, that's when progress happens. So focusing on joy in practice is a powerful tool in becoming more efficient. For the second half of March 2020, I posted daily prompts in the Mind Over Finger Facebook community, and we committed together to spending 10 minutes a day focusing on my suggestions or on anything else that made practicing fun, enjoyable, and meaningful. It was absolutely amazing to come together this way, and it was so incredible to read everyone's amazing findings and realizations. It was hugely inspiring for me. In 2021, I enlisted the help of some of my amazing friends and colleagues, and we had an absolute blast. With me, I had James Ennis, Tessa Lark, Stefan Jakiv, Simon Fisher, Demira McGill, Billy Hunter, Alyssa Tung, and Elizabeth Fadley. And we covered concepts like effortless effort, planning, musical triage, growth mindset, visualization, intentionality, and the impact of being interested. And for 2022, I brought more friends on board, and it was another mind-blowing 10 days of insanely amazing content. So today, I'm bringing you a summary of this awesome challenge. You're going to hear suggestions from Rachel Barton Pine, Mary Elizabeth Bowden, Vijay Gupta, Tom Hooten, Kim Kashkashian, Brian Lewis, Jennifer Montone, Lori Niles, Elizabeth Rowe, Ralph Sciano, Mimi Zweig, and yours truly. And we will cover a wide variety of topics from presence to rewards, exploration, discovery, using technology, recording yourself, absorbing your thoughts, and many more. As I've said already, you're in for a treat. The content that's coming up is going to help you bring more awareness, presence, engagement, fun, and results in your practice. So you can sit back and relax, listen to the prompts, and keep them in mind as you practice over the next few days. And you can also try to recreate the challenge for the next 10 days. If you want to try it, here are some really simple and flexible guidelines. For the next 10 days, commit to spending 10 minutes of your practice focusing on one of the prompts or on any variations of the prompt that come to you. The prompts are a great place to start, but don't feel in any way limited by them. They're merely suggestions. The important thing is for you to explore what brings joy and meaning in your practice. I strongly recommend that you write down some notes every day and keep track of your experience, the questions that come up for you, and your findings. I've created a free Joyful Practice companion guide that has all of the transcriptions of my guests' suggestions. It's a great resource to deepen your reflection and to have even more fun with the challenge. You can download that companion guide by going to mindoverfinger.com/resources. And of course, I have that link for you in the show notes. So you can go through the challenge as is, or treat it like a la carte menu where you can pick and choose whatever you're in the mood for that day. Return to it whenever you're in need of inspiration or something to lift up your spirit in the practice room. So, are you ready? Let's go. On day 1, we begin with the fundamental concept of presence with the wisdom of Mary Elizabeth Bowden. Is there something that makes practicing enjoyable for you? What's something that the listeners could try at home to make their practicing enjoyable?
I think before I start practicing, I remind myself that this is going to sound ridiculous. It's like my me time for the day. I make sure that I'm consciously relaxing and that this is my time to do what I love doing. So my first notes of the day I'm really concentrated on sound quality and ease and balance of playing. And I really enjoy those early moments of the day, even if the notes are stiff. It's the same thing as if you're stretching your muscles for working out or doing yoga. And I think reminding yourself to set up the day with feeling like I'm so excited to be in the practice room and not judging yourself on where you are that day. If things are not feeling great, don't panic. Look at it like, oh, well, I had a hard day the night before. This is totally normal. And start off with that mindset and having a growth mindset and realizing that it's not just a straight line up. Some days are going to be a little worse, and keep a practice journal. There's always a reason for why a day feels bad. You might look at your practice journal and be like, oh, I had 3 nights of bad sleep, or my water intake was like half what it should be. So yeah, there's a lot of things to keep track of, I know.
That's great insight. Thank you. No better way to start, right? So experiment with this in your practice today. Grab the handout and take the time to notice and record your thoughts and impressions. Before you begin, check in with yourself. How am I feeling today? What is my intention for this practice session? What would make it feel like a treat? How can I make it meaningful, fun, and engaging? What can I do to prime myself for a productive practice session? And by the way, if you don't know what priming is, check out episode 91 of this podcast, where I tell you all about this super effective technique. Then after your practice session, reflect some more. How did that practice session feel? What am I noticing? What are 3 things I'm grateful for? On day 2, my guests invite us to explore and get curious. First, Kim Kashkashian invites us to go on a journey. One of the things I like to talk about is joyful practice. Not in the sense that practicing doesn't require discipline, endurance, determination, of course, as you mentioned, but in the sense that when we have this love and this dedication, but can also figure out ways to make practicing enjoyable, I think that we are able to show up at our best. I know that for me, sometimes that means giving myself some challenges, or it could look like many things. But what makes practicing most enjoyable for you? What can the listeners try at home to make practicing more enjoyable or meaningful?
Here's an image for us all, I think. If you imagine when you walk into your practice room and pick up whatever instrument it is or sit down to it, that you are taking a beautiful exploratory walk in a new forest, new to you. You've never been there before. You know how to walk. You know how to use your eyes. You know how to use your ears. But this is a new forest. You've never been there. Every single time you walk into practice.
Mm. That's a very beautiful way to put it. Lori Niles encourages us to make things our own and to discover new things in the music. And Lori, every year I do the Joyful Practice Challenge because I feel like joy elevates everything about performing, about practicing, about having a musical journey. So what makes practicing most enjoyable for you? What can the listeners try at home to make practicing more enjoyable and meaningful?
I mean, for me, it's discovery. Whenever I can discover something new, and I think I am at a phase in my playing, where I really like to make things my own. So, like if I am practicing solo Bach and I come up with a new fingering that works for just my own fingers, wow, that's rewarding. I feel so like I've discovered gold. And making things your own and discovering things in the music.
I love that. It was great. Thank you. How fun are these? So, what will you try at home today to make practicing more enjoyable or meaningful? What do you notice when you pick up your instrument and play, simply for pleasure and exploration? How does it feel? What happens to your body, to your thoughts? What are you discovering? How did that practice session feel? And what did you notice? For day 3, I have 3 guests. First, Tom Hooten talks about managing expectations. Tom, what makes practicing most enjoyable for you? You've mentioned the importance of joy for you in music making, and I'm in on this as well. What can the listeners try at home to make practicing more enjoyable and meaningful?
I would say lower your expectation. Like, what? What are you talking about? Lower the expectation so that success happens all the time. And if we can do that, if we're living in the practice room, like focusing on 5 years or like the job we want to get, that can be demoralizing. Every day you're doing the same thing and it's like the same thing. What if success was incredibly easy and you chopped it down to the smallest thing and you celebrated that? You're like, I got it 5 clicks faster, or like that was like a little bit more smooth. That was a little more beautiful. I got it in tune like 3 times in a row. It was like, yes, tomorrow I'll get 4. If we can lower the expectation, I think that'll make joy in the practice room awesome. Possible.
Amazing. Then Brian Lewis and Mimi Zweig discuss the importance of experiencing success and noticing progress in the practice room. The next question is about joyful practice. I find that bringing joy in your practice room is such a great way to enhance everything about practicing. And I don't mean to not take things seriously, but you were talking about Miss DeLay and that love that she had and this positive attitude. And I find that when I really figure out ways to make practicing engaging and interesting and rewarding at a personal level, I just gain so much more from my practice. So what makes practicing more enjoyable for you?
Success.
Mm.
Being able to say, and so like maybe there's that tricky passage. Well, don't practice the whole page, practice that passage, but don't start on the note that's hard, back up by 4 bars. Because sometimes what's challenging about that passage isn't just the passage, it's getting into it, right? It's what you're doing with your hand or what you're doing with your bow. So nothing breeds happiness better than success. And so finding little successes in your practice will make you motivated to keep going. When we only hit walls, that's when we feel that we can't move forward.
Love it. So it's like you build it one little success at a time.
One step at a time. And then pretty soon you feel better. You feel more confident. Your brain feels better. You know how to approach more things. And then it makes you feel more comfortable playing different styles of music as well.
That's wonderful. Mimi, what makes practicing most enjoyable for you? Or what is something that the listeners could try at home to make practicing more enjoyable or meaningful for them?
Well, let me put it this way. I think that everybody wants to, as I said before, everybody wants to hear that there's a little progress every time one picks up the instrument. And that progress could be technical, it could be in musical insight. And if that is the inspiration to keep going.
I love this. These are so great. And I have to tell you, these suggestions generated a really fun conversation during the live video. So make sure to go catch it in our Facebook community. As you know by now, the link is in the companion guide. So when it comes to managing expectations, noticing progress, and celebrating success, what do you notice today? What are 3 simple things you can accomplish in your practice session today? What progress do you notice? What are 3 things you're proud of having accomplished in the session? And I'll say it again. Use the companion guide to help you deepen this reflection. Now, Rachel Barton Pine has a really fun prompt for you for day 4. What is one of your favorite ways to make practicing enjoyable for yourself?
Okay, I have lots to say about that. So, but I'll be quick because that could be a 1-hour conversation. Well, things that worked when we were 5 can still work today, which are artificial reward. So shiny pennies probably isn't going to cut it for an adult, but you can still say, okay, if I do this stupid passage of fingered octaves 20 more times, I'm going to let myself have a piece of chocolate. And so there are the artificial unrelated rewards, right? Or even like sometimes, you don't have sticker charts anymore, probably with the actual stickers, but I'll sometimes put an Excel spreadsheet into place where I'm like, okay, I'm going to have the innate feeling of satisfaction of knowing that I practiced this thing every day for 10 days in a row, even though the practicing wasn't fun. I'm going to have the innate pleasure of seeing in the little Excel sheet that I practiced it every day for 10 days in a row. And that feeling of accomplishment, even though that particular thing that I'm practicing brings me no innate pleasure in and of itself. So a lot of practicing is fun and you don't need any extra reward. Sometimes you can reward yourself with music. And I'll advise students and professionals about this. Like, okay, I have to practice these 5 things.
things number 2 and 3 are going to be annoying. So number 1 is going to be really enjoyable. So I'm going to say, okay, I won't let myself practice thing number 1 till after I've already, suffered my way through thing number 2. And just to have things in an order that's going to somehow keep your spirits up or give you something to look forward to besides, you have the long-term reward of, I know if I practice this thing today and then tomorrow and then the next day for a month hence, it'll sound really good. But that's not going to make me want to practice it today, quite frankly. So you just give yourself those artificial rewards or those musical rewards. And sometimes, especially for young people, the musical reward could be, okay, you don't want your entire practicing to be new things that you're learning that you don't quite play well, because then your entire practice, you haven't played well. And once we're past our Suzuki days where we have, review song, somehow we forget about review. And now we're, in our teens and we're playing concertos, and we can have entire weeks where we never practice anything that we play well. And that's not healthy for our playing. And so it's not just psychological, it's also physical. We need to be doing something that we can really achieve every day. So do review, not because you've got to play it in a group class or because your teacher told you to, but let's say you're working on Wieniawski's second concerto and you're just like, oh, I can't do anything up to tempo. It's still pretty out of tune. Well, I remember doing meditation from Thais last year and loving it and feeling I really polished it. And you know what? I'm going to take 10 minutes at the end of my practice and just play my meditation for myself, for my pleasure, so I can feel myself doing something well. That is super, super important. And sometimes we need to do that as grown-ups also.
Yes, I love this. Wasn't that fun? And I hope you reach out to me, either by email at mindoverfinger@gmail.com or on social media to let me know your favorite rewards, either artificial or musical. What artificial rewards would motivate you today in your practice, during or after? What musical rewards would motivate you today? What long-term benefits are you noticing from the work you did today? On day 5, I introduced some of the life coaching concepts that have changed my life and that I use when I work with coaching clients. I invited the participants to pay close attention to their thoughts and feelings. I strongly recommend you go and watch the video from that day for all the juicy details. But in the meantime, it's really simple to get started. Simply become the watcher of your thoughts and notice what happens to your practice when you're in that state of presence. Ask yourself, how am I feeling? What am I thinking? Observe the thought you caught yourself thinking and explore it. Is it true? Is it really true? Is it helpful to think that? Do I really believe that? And keep checking in. How am I feeling? What am I thinking? And again, click the link in the show notes and catch that video. As I said, those principles had a profound effect on my life, and I think you'll find a lot of value there. When you pay attention to your thoughts and feelings, you can unleash incredible focus power in your practice, and that power will hop on stage with you when it's time. For day 6, Elizabeth Rowe shares how she uses character to make her practicing more enjoyable. Elizabeth, what makes practicing most enjoyable for you? Is there something that the listeners could try at home to make practicing more fun or enjoyable or meaningful?
Oh, that's such a great question. I get asked this question a lot, especially by orchestral musicians who are on the audition circuit, because they find themselves facing the same list, the same repertoire, the same stuff over and over again. And it's pretty common for folks to get burned out, to sort of get sick of themselves, get sick of the music. And for me, one of the great tools that I use is to really delve into character. And to me, character, when I think about the character of the music, that's kind of an infinite pool. There's you think about great actors. I always talk about Meryl Streep, and when Meryl Streep takes on a role, it's not just the words and how she says them. It's how she blinks. It's the sort of tension or not tension in her shoulders. It's how she walks. It's the inflection that she brings, and you can keep digging for layers and for more and more refinement, specificity, more of a more kind of three-dimensional, comprehensive musical vision. And so for me, when I can start looking at character, it always asks more of me in terms of technique, in terms of sound production, it pulls all those other technical elements up, but it does it in a way that I find is very creative and is very satisfying and helps me stay engaged. So I think that's my kind of number one piece of advice, is to use character as a real driving inspiration point.
I love that. So as you explore character and dig in for more layers today, what are you finding? What did you try? How did it feel? Day 7 is all about variety with Jennifer Montone. What makes practicing most enjoyable for you? Is there something that the listeners could try at home to make practicing more enjoyable or meaningful?
I'd say variety, hitting it from all the angles you can think of, both repertoire-wise, practice technique-wise, and sort of like time of day, duration, just anything you can do to make it different, so that you're always really like alive and focusing and kind of following your body and following your mind as to what it wants to do right then.
Variety is so fun. And it's actually one of the best ways to be super efficient and effective in practice, because it really solicits your brain in different ways. It triggers new neural pathways and it keeps you engaged. One of my favorite ways to boost the results I get in the practice room. And as I did in the first iteration of the Joyful Practice Challenge, and funnily enough, creativity was also the prompt for day 7 on that one, I will challenge you to come up with at least 5 new ways to work on a passage. Pick a passage that presents a challenge at the moment, and think of at least 5 ways to work on it that are completely different than what you've done for this type of difficulty in the past. Get really creative. Here are some suggestions that I can offer. How about playing it slower than you've ever played it? Analyzing every movement, every detail. Or maybe do some fast practice with note groupings. Play it in a different key, or if you're a string instrument, try it on a different string. Or play it backwards with a different style, or arrange an etude to fit that passage. Try anything that comes to mind. Have some fun and get in touch to let me know what you've tried and how it worked. On day 8, Vijay Gupta encourages us to use a technique that seems to scare a lot of you, but that is so good for you. And that's recording yourself. Vijay, what makes practicing most enjoyable for you? What can the listeners try at home to make practicing more enjoyable and meaningful?
Mm-hmm. Well, so often enjoyable and meaningful fall on the opposite spectrum. Another important tool, I would say, that has led me over the long term to find much more enjoyment in my practicing is, of course, the recording device, the dreaded recording device. And this is actually where I find a lot of enjoyment in posting what I practice when I'm working onto Instagram. When I was learning the Bartok Solo Sonata, I posted a 30-second reel every day because I was so daunted. And I was like, I need some help. So it became enjoyable to practice it with the idea of sharing it, even sharing it totally imperfectly in the sort of social media ether. Right. And so, even a year ago, I was recording a minute of Bach every single day because I was, playing with a Baroque bow and playing off of Bach's original bowings. And I just wanted to try it and just see how it landed and how it felt.
So I would say, sharing something is enjoyable, but also recording it and being really clear about what I want to say. That makes things enjoyable and truly meaningful, because it has to be meaningful to me in order for it to be meaningful to another person.
Amazing. So good. And for this one, I also will encourage you to go catch the live video in the Facebook community, because I share one of my favorite techniques to start recording yourself that might make it easier for you if you're a little bit resistant to the idea. It's my record, reflect, refine technique. In a nutshell, pick a passage, something short, maybe just one phrase, but no more than two. Set clear intentions, then perform and record it. As you listen, notice 3 things you like about it. Notice 1 thing you would like to improve, and repeat that process twice. Simply playing your small passage and listening back right away, noticing 3 things you like about it and 1 thing you would like to improve. And yes, noticing things you like about it is important. So don't skip that step and catch the video replay to know why I think that's so important. Okay, day 9 definitely was a lot of fun for all the participants. Ralph Sciano shares the technology he uses to make practicing more productive and enjoyable. Talking about making things enjoyable, is there things that make practicing more enjoyable for you? So what can the listeners try at home to make practicing more enjoyable and or meaningful?
So there are a couple of things that I've been discovering lately that have been helping me enjoy my practicing more. Playing technical passages with mixed up rhythms has always been something that I've done, but I have my go-to rhythms that I use when I mix things up. And recently a colleague gave me a copy of Contemporary Violin Technique, Volume 1, Part 2. You know this book?
I have been using this book since I was probably 9 years old. Yes, very familiar with it. It's covered in coffee and it's gotten some good use.
This is just a gold mine for, using mixed up rhythms. So whereas I might think of 3 or 4 mixed up rhythms that I would use, there are 20 on a page with given note groups. So I've been enjoying working my way through those. I really like finding ways to play actual music. Mm-hmm. So whether I use Smart Music, which is a web-based application that has a bunch of different accompaniments available to practice, or using something like the Amazing Slowdowner, which is an app that you can speed up or slow down recordings to play along with. There are a bunch of pianists on YouTube that have just recorded just the piano parts to a lot of the solo repertoire. And in addition to that, that's why I wrote this book called Little Scores for Audition Success, which are just like arrangements that you can multi-track of all of the excerpts so that you get really into the score. It's like score study, but it's like interactive score study. Mm. And so just finding ways to like make the music more rich and give it more context. Another thing that I really have enjoyed that was suggested to me by a student is, do you know about the super metronome?
No, I don't know about the super metronome. I can't believe I don't know about the super metronome.
The super metronome can be super fun, especially if you get kind of creative with what kinds of beats you use. So it's like a drum kit metronome. And it's available as an app on your iPad or your iPhone, or I don't know if it's on Android or not. But using like a Latin beat behind music, which would or just your scales, like trying to find things like the difference between playing with good rhythm and playing in a groove, Right. It's so much easier to feel a groove if there's like a groovy backbeat to actually what you're doing. So with some of my students, we use the super metronome just even when they're playing their scales.
I'm gonna download this, and I'll put a link to the book that you mentioned, which is by Ivan Galamian, a very famous violin pedagogue who might have taught all of the violin teachers or everyone has studied with someone who studied with Galamian here in America. Yeah. And another way that I like, if I might jump in there too, is adding the rhythm from some song or any song
Oh,
or a pop song, or, you know, if you practice a passage with the rhythm from, of course, I'm blanking right now.
I know exactly what you mean. Like anything. It could be anything.
Yes.
It could be anything.
Using that for your scales or any difficult passage. Yes. Lots of fun
Yeah.
can be had. I feel like I've been saying this a lot, but that's the point of a joyful practice challenge, right? How fun was that? And in the live video, Ralph sent in another video where he demonstrates how he uses the super metronome, and that was pretty awesome. I highly recommend you watch that one as well, and you can find it by using the link in the companion guide or in the show notes. So reflect on what technology can be of service to you in the practice room, helping you make progress, stay engaged, and have a lot of fun. And I'd love to hear about your experience using the super metronome, so please get in touch. Finally, for day 10, I don't only go back to where we started, but I bring back the one tip that I've concluded every joyful practice challenge with: no shoulds, no shame, just relentless tenderness. So let's go back to where we started, and in your session today, just play with no shoulds, no shame, just relentless tenderness, and be there. Experience it with no expectations and no judgments. Let go. There will be plenty hours of hard, dedicated work ahead in the days and months to come. So take those 10 minutes and make them deliciously yours. Listen with tenderness. Feel your body with tenderness, and reconnect to what it is you enjoy about music making. Let your thoughts and your feelings rise. Let them come and go. Simply notice. Notice how you feel and what's enjoyable right now. And when you're done, see if you can carry that peacefulness in the rest of your practice that day. When you let the pressure, the need to, and the have to get in the way, you close your mind. If you bring more of this relentless tenderness in your daily practice, I think you'll find that you're much more engaged and interested, and as a result, way more open to problem-solving solutions and much more efficient. So this is it for the Joyful Practice Challenge 2022 edition. This challenge brought me so much inspiration, hope, and joy. And it was so special to share that with a really awesome community. The insight they shared was mind-blowing. I love this community so much. So I hope you try it out, and I'd love to hear back from you. What you did, what you observed, how you felt, what kind of results you got, or any thought that crosses your mind about the experience. So get in touch with me and share your experience. And there you have it. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you'd share with your friends and colleagues. Take a screenshot, post it on social media, and tag me. I'm Mind Over Finger everywhere. I always love hearing your favorite takeaways. And if you're ready to take your playing career to the next level, I'd love to invite you to join the Music Mastery Experience. This is my signature group coaching program where we're going to dive deep into building your confidence and mastery and set you up for success and fulfillment in your life and career. You can find all the details at mindoverfinger.com. While you're there, check out the free downloads and online courses available to support your journey even further. And don't forget to subscribe to my newsletter so you never miss an update or a tool to help you thrive. Again, thank you for being here. Until next time, much love and à bientôt.